Hey everyone, I'm Chini, your host for Chin Up and Rise, and today we are super honored to have Adriana here with us for the podcast. Adriana is an MPA candidate at UCL Institution for Innovation and Public Purpose and is also a huge advocate for collective impact. She believes in facilitating grounds-up initiatives and community-driven development towards sustainable solutions and community mutual self-help. Amidst her pursuit of a master's, Adriana is also a co-founder of an initiative that focuses on alleviating poverty in Singapore through investing in the aspirations of low-income families. The initiative emerged as champions in the inaugural Dreams Asia Breakthrough competition in Singapore. Adriana also led the initiative to be shortlisted as an innovative case studies by International OECD Observatory of Public Sector Innovation, out of the 1,084 submissions from 84 other countries. Without further ado, let's dive straight into what inspires Adriana to be who she is today, and we can learn from her to play our part in alleviating poverty in Singapore. Hi, Adriana.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm Adriana. I am the co-founder of Empowered Families Initiative, and I'm happy to be here on Saturday. So, thank you, Chini, for inviting me here today.
Yeah, and we're more than happy to have you here. Okay, so maybe to start off, you have a lot of things that's actually going on right now, right?
Oh, I have lots.
So actually, what do you actually do?
Okay, so my profession is actually a community development practitioner. So I work alongside low-income families to enable them to improve their quality of lives. And currently, I'm also doing my master's in London. So I'm back now for a short break to do my dissertation. And I'm also the co-founder of Empowered Families Initiative, which is an initiative that I independently founded together with a few of my friends.
Right. So actually, this initiative that you're spearheading is not exactly the full-time that you're doing, right?
No, it's part of the work that it's not my full-time job, but it's something that I do on the side. Yeah.
But right now you are doing full-time with NCSS?
Yes, I'm doing it full-time.
Okay, understand. Just trying to get that sorted before we get into dive straight into what you're actually doing. So I think today's main focus will be on this initiative that you are actually doing with a group of friends. So how did this initiative actually come about?
Yeah, so I think I've been in the social service sector, working low-income families for about 7 years. So I think one thing that I see is that when low-income families, they come and seek help, right? It's always about presenting like what are their needs and like I need this, I need that. But sometimes, many times, right, I've seen a lot of families who come and they say that they just need a little bit of help, like a startup capital for them to either find employment or work on their own home-based businesses for them to earn an income. But this kind of assistance is something that is not present in the sector currently. A lot of the assistance is basically given on the needs. Right. So the more needy you make yourself appear to be, the more likely is it you get assistance. Yeah. So this is a really different, this initiative is a different shift, looking at how we can look at the aspirations of these low-income families and invest in their potential.
Right. So this idea of yours actually originally stemmed from because you want to change how people view or how people actually can help the needy in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now the system is such that we are only helping the needy if, how do I say? Maybe you can put it in better words for me. So what's the current concept that Singapore actually has right now versus the current initiative that you have? Like what's the difference?
Okay. So for example, maybe just give you not a case study, maybe a story, right? So when you apply for assistance, like social assistance, basically you really have to make sure that you make yourself out to be very needy as possible. So like, I have needs, I'm not working, I have, my children hasn't eaten for days. So I think it's really in a very, a plight that is not very, in a needy plight, I think, you have a lot of needs. But a lot of assistance is premised based on that. So I've had for example, I had this family who say that, I actually I'm doing okay, but I just need a little bit more for me to move out of the rental flat, right? Because they want to not just stay there and they want to improve their lives, they want to maybe even going on to purchase their flat, right? So, but the thing is that they don't have savings, and they don't have they they want to increase their income, but they are stuck there because they don't have that capital to move on to find others. Like for example, like capital for upskilling or capital for starting a business, for example. So this initiative is different because it looks at a more developmental aspect, looking at more how we can help families to move from just surviving and being stagnant to thriving, to being able to fulfill their potential and also the aspirations that they have, which is something that I don't think the current system actually has or looked into.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think from what I understand, right, the current system is the worse off you are. In a sense, they are promoting you to stay to stay negative.
Yeah,
To stay poor, for lack of better word, to stay poor. So it doesn't encourage you to upskill, because the moment you upskill, right, it means that you're out of this bracket where you can actually get subsidy from the government.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that is the main problem that you actually see, right, with the current system. Yeah, and the difference is, instead of telling us to continue being poor, you're actually giving us a platform to upskill ourselves such that we can bring in more revenue, and also to make sure that it's actually sustainable, right?
Yes.
Okay. And from what I understand, it didn't come easy. So this initiative that you're actually doing, right, you went through 4 rounds of being rejected before it can actually come to fruition here today. Yeah. So maybe you can walk us through the journey that you had for this initiative.
Yeah, so maybe in my capacity as like community development practitioner, so I was seconded to different social service agencies. So I think about 2 social service agencies. For the first social agency, I was seconded to, I shan't name the agency, right, just to protect that identity. I've tried to, I think, advocate for it, like to my superiors and to the team, but I think it didn't really get the buy-in, maybe because the idea was something that is so unheard of and something that is so different.
Yes.
That, they, like, there's not even a step to even want to try to do that. So didn't get the support, and they said that, oh no, we don't have enough budget. So I did that twice. So twice I was rejected.
Yeah.
And I went to another agency. It didn't really get the support that is needed to actually try and prototype this initiative. So and we tried. Another time I tried again. I tried to, I think, ask for funding from another organization. They say, okay, no, this is an idea that we don't really believe in.
Right.
So it got rejected again. So the idea was, I think, tried in various, so in my 2 agencies and also one trying to apply to a funder directly, trying to prototype this. And it's, I think, all 4 times it was rejected. So I think when we had the when we took part in the competition, right, the Eco Dreams Asia Breakthrough Competition, so they gave us like $25,000 to prototype this initiative. So we did it with 7 families, and we managed to see quite very, very promising results from there, where the families are able to actually move forward and work on other goals that they have for themselves. Yeah.
Maybe you can walk us through how this whole initiative works.
Okay, so this initiative is not like any typical social assistance program for low-income families. So it, the whole objective of it is to invest in the aspirations and potential of the low-income families. So this initiative has 3 pillars. The first pillar is grants. So we give families grants.
Okay.
And this grant, they can actually have so we have a conversation. You have a conversation with the family, and these families can use these grants towards some of the goals that they are working towards.
Okay.
In order for them to, they have some goals for themselves. We do some goal setting in the conversations. And we use that money for that purpose. So that's the first sort of like pillar. The second pillar is savings matching, because we know that assets are very important, right? For you to even do anything or do things that you want, or even work on the goals that you have for yourselves or your family. So we help to do savings matching for the family. So the family would put in, for example, they put $50 a month. The initiative would actually match twice, $100 a month. So for that period, for that month, the family will actually save $150.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's our. So we do that for a period of 6 months.
I see.
Yeah. So to help, I think the family build some buffer so that they can actually use it as a seed for even growing their assets further. And the third one is actually, we call it support collectives. Where all these families that's on board this initiative, they have to meet together in support groups or have group meetings to share what is their progress towards their goals, because we believe the power of like social connection and social aid.
Community self-help.
Correct. Communities have to actually push each other towards their goal, encourage or even collaborate to even for them to achieve their goals. So they don't feel that they are actually alone in this.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so meaning that the 7 families will actually meet together.
Yes, that's right. Every month.
Right. And then how do you qualify? How do they qualify? What are some conditions or
Conditions, right? Okay, so we actually also take the benchmark from like the social assistance, what qualifies family social assistance for social assistance. Right now, I think it's about $800 per capita income per month. So the families have $800 per capita income or less, they will be eligible for this. That's the threshold, like even for national social assistance. Secondly, they would have to have some ideas of what are the goals that they want to work on for the next 6 months. Because the initiative is only for 6 months, right, for the families. You have to have some goals. They don't have to have a very like smart goals, right? They just have an idea and maybe demonstrate that they actually have the commitment and willingness to actually work on these goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are these goals more business related?
So different. So we realize that different families are different. They have different aspirations based on their different sort of like assets, based on their own potential, right? What they are good at. So some of them they do home-based business in like food and beverages, right? They have home-based business. There's a lot of that happening. Some of them they want to upskill. Probably, so for example, like some courses that they might do. So I think one example of the family that they want to apply for a crane course. I think crane
course,
like crane operator course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and apparently crane operator course can get you like I think 5K a month salary. So it's really quite
because it's quite dangerous.
Yeah, because it's dangerous. Yeah, but it's I think it's lucrative for them. But it's not covered by any existing Skills Future or any initiatives. So the capital can also be used towards supporting that
certain specific roles that they actually want to be in.
So it's very the goals are very, and I think we also want it to be varied and customized to different families. It's not programmatic, one size fits all for everyone because we know that that's not going to work. They're just trying to fit a family into a box, right? So that's how we work.
Okay. Then how do you make sure that eventually, right, by doing this initiative, they will be able to actually get out of the current situation that they are in?
So we have a few. So we have conversations with the families, right? We have goal setting, and then we also ask them what are some of your long-term goals? Where do you see yourself and your family in 5 to 10 years time? So we'll slowly build in milestones towards that. We cannot expect the families to achieve everything overnight. I think that's also quite overwhelming for them. So I think it's we cannot take a very short-term sort of like outlook with this. I think for families, I think we intend to work with them for like even 2 years to see whether it is something that can actually help the families. So I think a lot of our families, like three out of the 4 families are right now, I think, working towards applying for a flat already. One already got a key. So 2 of them are actually working towards applying to a flat. So instead of just surviving and focusing on putting food on the table, now they are looking at what are the goals that they can to help the families to thrive, expand, or even move to having an asset, purchasing a home in Singapore. So I think it's very promising in that way, and we're just very happy to support the families.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's a very good change. In terms of the mindset that we have when we are looking at helping the needy. Instead of just freely just giving help, as long as they hit this criteria of not being able to have this certain amount of income, we actually encourage them and we teach them how to fish. Right, instead of giving them the fish, right? And this I can definitely see that is in the long term it's gonna be more sustainable. So how do you actually envision to actually make it larger scale so they can help the rest of
this larger scale? So we know that initiatives like this take time to build, right? And we have in terms of scaling up, right? We have the founding team, we got together and I think we came up with 2 strategies. It's to scale up and scale out. Scale up is with regard to the number of beneficiaries, the families on board this initiative, right? Scale out meaning we want to train the trainer. We want to train social service agencies and the sector to be able to implement this agency. To be able to implement this initiative within their own agency. So it's not only like the team who's running it for a lot of families. You want it to be scalable, right? But you have to train other people to also be able to do it. So you want to have a multiplier effect where we can have a wider reach as well.
Which means that you will need to actually go and speak to different social group agencies and have a collaboration with them.
Collaborations and partnerships.
Very interested to see how far you'll go and changes to the Singapore system also. Okay, so I mean, going back to previously where you actually said that you needed 4 times before this initiative actually came alive.
Yep.
So what actually motivated you to continue to push on, even though so many people actually rejected the idea? Because I mean, for myself, if someone rejected me for 3 times or 2 times even, I'll start to doubt myself. Like, is this really something that will work? Yeah, but do you actually have that also?
Yeah, I think I didn't really have that. I think I'm very strong-headed. I think very strong-headed. So I think it's really about having the conviction that it will work. And as long as I haven't tried to do it, I feel like I haven't done my best. Because I at least try it. Like even like when I participate in the competition and we developed the prototype, I think there were also a lot of doubts. I feel like I'm also my biggest critic. I will always like, oh, will this work or not? But
Definitely.
you know what I say, like, okay, just don't doubt yourself first. Just try and see how, and whatever mistakes that you make is actually a learning point for you to improve it, or try to make it work and improve it to make it work. So nothing will be perfect at the start.
I see.
So I think to answer your question, I think it's really a strong sense of conviction that if you believe in something that it's really going to be useful, and as long as I haven't tried it, I think if there are ways to enable it to be tried out or prototype and tested to see whether it work, then basically that's a goal that I want to work towards. So I just want to try.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meaning to say that having a very clear goal in mind will actually help you in terms of conviction as well.
Yes.
Okay. And was there anything that actually happened to you maybe last time or in your earlier years that made you want to look into this?
Oh yeah, actually I wasn't born with a silver spoon.
Yeah.
My dad is like a normal technician, regular technician.
Okay.
My mom used to be a homemaker, and then she went out to work to support the family. So we were basically, I think you could say, they were low income. I was from a low income family.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
low income family.
No wonder.
Yeah, but I get so I've experienced the challenges that the families face and the barriers that they go through. But I'm actually quite fortunate to be able to go to a secondary school that's quite good. It's a top school in Singapore. And the top school in Singapore is actually not very, it's quite expensive basically. There are other hidden fees that my family couldn't afford at that point in time. So I had to seek help. I had to seek financial assistance from the school. And I think they said that there's someone who actually want to invest in your education and make sure that you don't drop out just because you don't have the means to continue in the school. Okay. So I think because I feel that someone believed in my potential, wanted to invest in me, I feel like it's also it's my turn to actually invest in the potential of others too. Because I know that people just need a little bit to to succeed and to invest in their potential so that they can actually try. Yeah.
Okay. So having come from a background of a low income family, right? What were some struggles that you actually went through back then?
Back then?
Yeah.
Struggles? Yeah, I think it's really about at first it's like the lack of finance. So there was this worry of, oh no, my parents are not going to be able to pay for my education. So can I continue this school? I really, at that point in time, I really enjoyed school. I feel like being a top school gives you a lot more opportunities and exposure to things that I think you wouldn't get anywhere else. So, and I really enjoyed that experience, being part of the students. So I was a bit worried. I think there's always the worry about, oh no, am I going to drop out? And then where am I going to go next? And I think in school, I think there are a lot of other rich kids as well in school. So it's always part about oh, okay. But I think it wasn't, but they were very nice. I mean, people are very welcoming and friendly. And I think it was really one of the 4 best years of my life at the secondary school. It was really nice. It was a really enjoyable time. Yeah, being exposed to all the opportunities.
But okay, I mean, thinking back, right, in my secondary school days, I remember there was the transition period where, was it secondary school or was it before that? iPhone came about, all these gadgets and iPad and Apple, right? All these things. So do you actually face that? I mean, I'm pretty sure, I remember my peers around me, they were also upgrading their gadgets and stuff like that. And do you actually experience or do you feel like you were left out when you couldn't upgrade, things like that?
I think maybe not the gadgets, but I think what was very glaring for me was that a lot of my classmates, right, they all had parents who had cars. So the parents would actually fetch, like they would just wait at the foyer and then, wait for like the cars to come and fetch them. And I'll also at the point in time, I didn't really question, but I think looking back, it's like, oh, okay, I think that's a difference I felt different in a way, and I guess I'm just like a commoner, a normal person, like a common person. Yeah.
But how do you deal with it then?
How did I deal with
the comparison mindset, and how do you deal with all these worries that you have when you're going through?
I think at that point in time, again, I was just very focused on what is my purpose there? What is my goal? I think my goal is to actually go through the experience of, study hard. I think like trying my best, my education, giving myself a fair chance to also succeed, because I just want to, do well in my studies.
Yes.
So I think if that is my goal, then I feel like everything, you just tune out everything else. Nothing else is important. I just start to focus on what's important.
Yeah. Meaning list out your priorities.
Yeah. So actually at the end of, not to boast lah, actually, so at the end of my 4 years in school, I actually got all A, straight A's for my studies. Yeah, so that was, I was quite shocked also, okay. There's something that I didn't know, but I think probably I just felt like I wanted to focus. And I think I also wanted to provide a better life for my family. I feel like through education, like my mom also tell me, like, you are like one of our hope to actually like change our family's life, from low income to someone who to allow our family to thrive. So I felt like there was also like maybe responsibility. I feel like also like I'm here to also help my family have a better life, and I'm using this education. I'm going to focus on this education to give me an opportunity to also succeed in life. Yeah. So that's I guess that was where I was coming from.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the income gap in Singapore right now?
Income gap pertaining to what? It's quite a issue.
Just pertaining to what? Maybe pertaining to having a fair chance to actually succeed in Singapore. Because this will all start from education, right? Yeah. So what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, that's a very big question. Let me try to... Okay, so first you say education, right?
Yes.
So I think previously education used to be a social leveler where, people have, when everyone has the same education opportunity, basically your chances are more fair to be able to, to thrive and achieve what you want.
Yeah.
But right now I think it's getting a little bit difficult because, the income gap, right, would I think result in a very huge gap in terms of access of opportunity. So for example, probably like someone who from a well-off family as compared to someone from a low-income family. Of course, the family with a lot of resources would, I think, pump in all resources like tuition and everything. I'll make sure you do well, right? And for the low-income family, probably you look into, maybe you might not have the means. Your family might not have the means to have tuition even. And so that might be like difficult for them to even have that chance, right? It's not even equal to begin with because of the inequality in terms of income or resources to invest in your ability to actually maybe succeed in school, for example. Yeah, so that's one aspect for education. So education, whether it's still a social leveler, it's quite debatable right now. That's one of it. So I think income gap, then just inequality of resources.
And because having been from, you have been through it from a low income to where you are today, would you say that you actually had to fight very hard to achieve whatever that you have today? Or was there a particular time where you felt like giving up, or you told yourself this is not worth it, or just under immense stress or pressure?
So I think I would think that I'll have to work harder than the rest of my peers. I didn't get tuition in secondary school. I didn't have tuition because I think my parents didn't have the means to send me for tuition in school. So I guess I have to work harder. Like I remember, like at home, I'll just put in the extra hours to, like, I go home straight and then I'll just like do my work, do my homework, do everything. And then like on weekends, I'll just do like some revision on my work. So I was very diligent in that way. So I guess I put in the work, I put in the effort. Sorry, what's the question?
Were you ever stressed out?
Oh, stressed out was, stressed. I was stressed out. But I think what works for me is, I don't know, I always look to my mom because she's always like the one like giving me like words of encouragement.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay lah. So I feel better after talking to her. I'm really quite stressed. And it's okay. Like, and my mom say like, I'll pray for you. It's fine. You're gonna do fine. I believe in your, I believe that you can do it. But sometimes I think it's also important to take breaks in between, do something that you like. Not just study, because then you'll burn out, right? So whenever I think I would like to think that I led a pretty balanced sort of like life, because sometimes like even if I do revision, right, I will also still like take the time to just chill, relax, or maybe watch movies or do things with my sisters. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, from what I hear, it's more of celebrating the small wins in life.
Celebrating and also being able to manage your time.
Yeah,
balance,
correct. Time management and all this.
Yeah.
So how do you, okay, maybe I can ask you, do you think that it's important for us to acknowledge the small little wins that we actually have?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think we live in a society, right, where it's so difficult to accept compliments.
Yeah,
like, oh, you did a good job. Oh, no lah, no lah. I don't know whether it's like a Singaporean thing or like, I'm not sure. But a lot of my friends I ask, a lot of my friends I ask,
I also same.
You think it's right?
When people compliment me, I'm just, okay, thank you. But I don't mind giving compliments.
Yes.
It's very difficult for me to accept it.
Right?
Yeah. And okay, so I mean, from experience, right? We are always focused on the gold medal at the end. We are always focusing on, okay, I achieved the best results out of all my other friends. So to me, I think these are all really big wins in life.
Yeah.
And because of this, right, for example, if let's say I managed to answer one question correct, while other people didn't manage to, but I will not celebrate that small little win in the fact that I know this better, but I will focus on all the other things that I couldn't. Yeah, and I will only acknowledge the big wins I have in life. Yeah, and that in turn will make me feel very negative as a whole. And I just felt that it's not very good. Yeah, that's why I actually was asking you, how then do you celebrate to make sure that you acknowledge all these small little wins in life, and how do you actually celebrate it?
How do I celebrate the small wins? As a group or individually?
Okay, so because for example, the initiative that you have, right? When you take a step back and look at it, right, you are the only one that is being that's chosen out of 83 out of 1,000 over submissions from 83 different countries, and I think that's quite a big feat. I think it's quite amazing. But before you get there, right, there was also a lot of hiccups that you went through. So actually, what pushed you on to continue lah?
To continue.
Were there any small little wins that you had along the way that let you that reassured that, okay, I think I'm going the right way? Yeah.
So I think the small wins that I see, or even my team sees, is I think not improvement, I would say the progress that the families that we work with, like what they need. So I think one very glaring thing about the families, so some families they change their goals at the end because they feel like they need to, I think, scale down a bit of their goal to make it a bit more realistic. So they might not achieve their goal at the end. They might change their goal. But I think what changed from when we first encountered the family to maybe like 3 months or 4 months later is that they have the confidence to actually say, okay, maybe I need to pivot a bit. I need to change his goal. So there was a lot of newfound confidence within the families. And we feel that actually this is something that is very heartening because, and this is what makes us feel that we are on the right track. So I think even for you're talking about like, small successes, right?
Yeah.
The families that we work with, right? We also, and like, I think families who I think under-resourced, right? They don't have a lot of resources. I think these small wins is even more important to celebrate so that you can encourage them and give them the confidence to enable them to actually work on subsequent goals that they have for themselves. So I think it's a parallel process. Like we celebrate small wins for the families and we also celebrate small wins for the team. I think the team can do more in, like my team can do more in, I think, celebrating. Acknowledging that. I think sometimes we just like...
It's not in our culture.
We just find out like, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, that's good. Let's not like get too in our head, like up in our head about this. Okay, let's move on. Let's not be complacent and move on. So probably that's something that we can afford to do more. I think right now trying to do, but we can do more of that.
Okay. And when you meet certain kind of setbacks, right, how do you deal with it?
Setbacks. Okay, I'll be honest. So when I have some setbacks, right, of course, like you feel like sad, upset, and you have like downtime lah. Basically, I call it like my downtime. Like when I'm really down, I really like just refuse to do anything. I'll just like I'm just like lie down. Like, oh my god, like this happened. What should I do? So very paralyzed.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need that time in order for me to get back up. So like okay lah, just give me like maybe some time. Like, I say, you know what? I'm just gonna like grumble in my bed and just lie down there, but I'm giving my time. Okay, but after that you can cry or be upset all you want, but after this time you just have to get up and just try again.
Okay.
So I give my time when I'm really sad. I just really give myself the space and time to be sad, be upset. Then after a while, actually time also helps. Then you just pick yourself back up again and think about what you want to do next lah.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you do things like journaling or
Journaling? Not really. Don't really journaling, but I do self-reflection.
Okay.
So every time when I have time to myself, like in the morning, right, when I have time to myself, or even during breakfast when I'm alone, I'll just set some time to be. I think it's like a gratitude, like giving gratitude. Like, what are you thankful for? What am I thankful for? And just appreciate the little things in life. So I think these kind of reminders are also put a lot of things in perspective. That actually, like myself, a lot of us, or even for myself, that there's a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Then maybe this is just one of the hiccups along the way that maybe it's like normal part and parcel of life, right, and being a human.
Yeah.
So just like okay, just move along.
Yeah, especially when you are juggling 3 different hats at once, right? Your full time, this initiative, while you're actually doing your masters also.
Yes.
So many things. How do you actually manage your time?
So I think someone told me this before. I think it's quite funny. So they say like, okay, because I'm in UK is about 7 hours
Yes, correct.
behind,
7 hours
right?
behind.
7 hours behind, right? So for example, so typically when I have meetings with my in Singapore, with Singaporeans or with my Singapore team, I will start it early in the morning at 9 a.m. in UK. So which is about 4 p.m. in Singapore.
Okay.
So I have 9 a.m. Say my meeting is 9 to 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I basically after that, like the Singapore team will be okay, that's the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I still have the rest of the day to live. So someone told me like, oh, actually you have more than 24 hours a day. I mean, which is true in a way because like, you can sort of like lengthen your time. So maybe the time difference is actually not an obstacle, but more of like, actually I have other timings to.
So your day starts at 9
a.m.
and then you will study, right, for your masters.
Yeah, so if I'm meeting with my Singapore team for this initiative, right, I online meeting with them, right, maybe 9 to 11 a.m. for example.
Singapore time, right?
9 to 11 UK time.
Okay, 9 to 11 UK time.
4 p.m.
4 to
5 p.m. 4 to 6 p.m.
4 to 6 in Singapore.
In Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah, so 9 to 11, then 4 to 6, right? So 4 to 6, after 6 really end day, right?
Yeah.
But I still have the rest of the day to fulfill, you see. So again, maybe 9 is not a very good example. So for example, there was once I woke up at 6 a.m.
Okay.
in UK to attend a 1 p.m. meeting in Singapore.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah. So I woke up early, right, 6 a.m. And then I feel like I have more time. Okay, maybe that's not a good example. Let me give you another example.
Wait, this is when you are stationed in London,
Yeah,
right?
I'm stationed in London. So I'm
for
stationed in London.
context,
Okay, I remember like the earliest that I've woken up before was 3 a.m.
Okay.
for a Singapore meeting at about
minus 7.
plus 7, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. meeting in Singapore. So I woke up at 3 a.m. So after 3 a.m., after it's about 5 a.m., right? So I still have the rest of the day to work.
Oh, okay,
and then they can just go on. So someone told me that I got more than 24 hours. Okay, so like maybe should take advantage of it. Yeah lah, but then I got no loss.
Sorry, I was also thinking like, when do you sleep?
How do I
Yeah, when do you sleep, right?
Yeah. But I feel like I can maximize a lot more hours in being in London as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there's also time where there's like a peak during your initiative and it's also peak during your masters.
Yeah.
Then how do you juggle both at once? While making sure that your health is
my health is like balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think whenever it gets tough, for example, like if I have my studies that I know is period and I have a lot of assignments or deadlines coming up, I will actually tell my team. So I have my team in Singapore. So how it works is that I'm in London Then two of my other team members in Singapore will also work on the initiative. So we work like virtually lah. We just meet virtually. So if I have something that is urgent, so I'll tell my team. So I can't be fully present, or maybe I won't be 100% on this because I have other commitments to attend to. Then they will step up more. So after I'm done, then I'll resume back the normal work that I'm doing. So I think it's a lot of give and take, and the support from my team that
communication also,
communication
right?
as well.
Yeah.
Across the borders.
Across different time zones.
Yeah.
Okay, so your main initiative, you are actually helping families with their finances, right? So in terms of your own personal finances, right, how do you actually manage it such that you ensure you have resources freed up to do actually what you want to do?
Do what I want to do. I guess like the straight answer will be savings lah. Make sure that I think whatever you want to save first, just put aside, and then like the rest you can actually. And I think budgeting, I have like this on that I recently saw like on TikTok, they have this like pocket finances. So they have like these pockets or small pockets where you actually can organize your finances. Okay, for like food, for like items that you want. So I think it's like budgeting, but it's a fun way to do it.
Okay.
So I thought maybe that's quite interesting. Maybe I should try. Maybe
Wait,
it's something that I want
you're
to try.
referring to a physical?
It's like
item?
a physical like notebook and with like a lot of like wallet slots. Like the plastic slots.
Okay.
Like
and then what, you slot in
slots.
physical money in it?
Yeah, so you slot in like physical money in it to like budget for your. I mean, it's very cute lah, but I guess it's a quite a fun way to budget. Yeah, but I mean now it's like cashless, right? So I guess you say whenever you just put in the bank and then.
Yeah, I mean if you're gonna do that, let me know where you stay so I can have easy access to it. Okay, but it's true. I mean, it's the same thing for my clients when I plan for them. I usually make sure that their emergency funds are being set aside first. And then their insurance is taken care of, meaning the income protection area. And whatever that they have left over, the excess, then you actually go and invest it. So, but of course, in terms of that, I will also do goal setting with them. So for yourself, what do you think? Do you think it's important to actually set goals for yourself also?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's very important to set goals. I think have a general idea, rough idea of where you're heading towards. But sometimes I feel like sometimes goals might shift along the way because circumstances might change, right? So I think it's also having the flexibility to be able to maybe shift and pivot accordingly to something that best suits your circumstances at that point in time. Yeah. But I have a general direction of where you're going towards.
Right.
Along the way, there might be hiccups, right? Yeah. So I also see this as quite a parallel process. Financial like advisors or consultants, they will work together with individuals. So I feel like also it's a parallel process together with families. Yeah. Maybe not in terms of like insurance and investing, but more of like how we can
teaching them how to strategize.
Teaching them how to build their assets and to build their savings as well. Yeah. So another outcome that we saw from our initiative is that the families feel that they are a bit more disciplined to want to save. So every month they say that, every month I will actually just put aside the money. I won't think about it. It's something that I don't see. But then, when I know that I have this at the back, I feel a bit more secure. In terms of, I have something to fall back on in case there's a crisis in my family.
Understand. Yeah. Okay. So for, let's say, students who are experiencing maybe the same thing as what happened to you, do you have any piece of advice for them?
I think I would say to them, just be clear about what your goal is, like where you're at, right? Why are you there? What's your purpose? What's your end goal? And to have that clarity, because when you have that clarity, you know how to filter what is important and what is not important. So just do it. Just push through, I guess. But also again, another thing is that don't be afraid or don't be ashamed to actually ask for support. When you feel like you need, give yourself a fair chance lah. Yeah, if others won't give you a chance, actually try and give yourself a fair chance to do this and even try to make something of yourself and make something better for yourself and also your family.
Okay, and for the rest of us, right, how do you think we can actually help to eliminate or reduce the number of people who are in need in Singapore?
I think first important thing is that maybe ask yourself, how are you viewing the families? Are you viewing them from a, like, they are very needy and they need my help and they always have to rely on me for help? Or would you look at them as, maybe individuals like you and me who also have aspirations, who have a lot of potential, just that they don't have the resources to do so? So I think if you want to help families more meaningfully, right, and also sustainably, right, maybe consider how you also want to invest. Look at them as people with aspirations, with potential and their goals, and see how you want to support them and journey alongside them in able to to invest in their aspiration, work on their aspirations, so that it's more sustainable for them and they are able to achieve their goals, to be able to thrive for themselves and also their families. Yeah. So it's a shift. It's a shift.
Yeah, it's a major shift actually.
It's a major shift. So it's I guess the change that we are trying to.
It will take a while. So I think when the first time I heard you say it, I was like, wow, I've really never heard of it before. I always just thought that government wants to give me money, then I'll just try to report as low as possible. I'll just try to make sure that I don't exceed so that I can continually get the subsidy from government. Yeah, but I think having this initiative will really help to promote sustainability and help to teach us how to be able to keep ourselves to upgrade our skills, not be afraid to upgrade our skills such that we will no longer be able to receive the subsidy. So I think that's a very noble cause, and I think can't wait to see how it will flourish in the coming years. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on set today.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll catch you again after this.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Chin Up and Rise. We have also collated the key pointers of today's episodes. All you can do is actually click the link down below to have access to all this. And you can also follow us on the social media handles down below for more content and update. Before you go, do remember to give us a like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.